All right, let's talk about a huge shift that's happening in education, but it's happening in these tiny 60-second chunks. We're going to dive into how these little micro videos are totally changing the classroom and what that actually means for how all of us learn. So meet Dr. Achul Patil. He's an educator, and like a lot of people right now, he's discovered this massive new classroom online. And really, his personal mission, his passion for the English language, is right at the heart of this whole digital transformation we're seeing.
Dr. Patil's YouTube channel isn't just a random collection of videos. No, it's a full-on educational hub. We're talking nearly 300 lessons here. He covers the whole spectrum, from the nitty-gritty of pronunciation and business communication, all the way to those super important soft skills for, developing your whole personality. It's really the complete package for anyone looking to level up. But lately, he's made a really interesting pivot. He's leaning into short-form videos, the kind of stuff you see on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. And look, this isn't just him chasing a trend. It's a super smart, deliberate move to meet learners exactly where they are, which, let's be honest, is scrolling on their phones.
Okay, but this brings up a huge question, right? We all watch these little videos for fun, but can you actually learn something from them? Like, can a complex skill like learning a new language really be broken down into these tiny, bite-sized pieces? Well, let's see what the science has to say.
And it turns out there's a really powerful reason this whole format works so well. It's not just a gimmick. It actually taps into the way our brains are literally wired to learn. It's all based on something called the cognitive theory of multimedia learning from a guy named Richard Mayer. But the core idea is actually super simple. Our brains learn way better when we get information from both words and pictures at the same time. And here's the kicker. When you break down complicated stuff into small, manageable chunks, you avoid something called cognitive overload. Basically, you stop your brain from getting overwhelmed, which makes it way easier to actually process and remember things. So check this out. A recent study decided to put this whole theory to the test. Researchers got a bunch of engineering students in India who were learning English and split them into two groups. Group 1, they got the old school traditional textbook method. But Group 2, they learned the exact same stuff, but through these little custom-made micro videos. And the results? Honestly, they were staggering. The group with the textbooks, they made a little progress, but nothing to write home about. The micro video group, though, whoa. They showed huge, statistically significant improvements across the board in their vocabulary, their listening skills, and their grammar. The data couldn't be clearer. This was no fluke. It was just a much, much more effective way to learn. Okay, so the science is solid. Microlearning absolutely works. But knowing why something works is one thing. Knowing how to make it work is a completely different ballgame. In a world where you can just scroll forever, how on earth do you get someone to stop on your video and actually learn something? Well, it all comes down to the first 3 seconds. That's it. This is what everyone in the content world calls the hook. It is the absolute make or break moment that decides if someone sticks around or just swipes away. And believe me, the stakes are super high. Think about this. The most successful shorts out there keep at least 70% of their viewers from swiping away. 70%. If you drop below that, the algorithm basically buries your video. So yeah, your hook doesn't just need to be good, it has to be powerful. So how do you do that? Well, the best hooks, it doesn't matter if it's for cat videos or chemistry lessons, they all tap into some basic human psychology. And educators like Dr. Patil, they're using these exact same tools to make their lessons totally irresistible. They'll create a curiosity gap, give you a little FOMO, fear of missing out, or just interrupt your endless scroll with something totally unexpected. Like, take this one. Have you heard about? So simple, right? Dr. Patil could kick off a video with, have you heard about the one English word that has over 600 different meanings? Bam, instant FOMO. You just have to know what it is. Okay, this next one is even more powerful. Imagine a lesson on a common grammar mistake. Dr. Patil could say, they don't want you to know this simple trick for using commas. See what that does? It's not just a question, it feels like you're about to be let in on a secret. That's almost impossible to scroll past. And I love this one. I was today years old when I found this out. It's just so brilliant because it's instantly relatable. So if Dr. Patil starts with, I was today years old when I learned this pronunciation secret, it just creates this immediate connection. It's like, hey, we're learning this cool, surprising thing together. All right, so your hook worked. They stopped scrolling. Success. But Grabbing their attention is really only half the battle. Now what do you do with it? You have to guide that attention somewhere. And that's where the famous call to action, or CTA, comes in. For an educator, this is absolutely the most critical step. This is what turns someone just passively watching into someone who's actively learning. So what is a CTA? It's just a simple, clear instruction that tells the viewer exactly what to do next. That's its only job, to remove any confusion, any friction. In this fast-paced world, being super clear is everything. And let me show you the difference. A weak CTA is wishy-washy, like hope you consider it. A strong one is direct and clear, like download now. It always starts with a punchy action verb: get, start, join. For a teacher, that's the difference between ending with hopeless helps versus try this exercise in the comments. One is passive, the other is a direct invitation to learn. And here's a pro tip. The really effective videos layer their CTAs. So Dr. Patil might say, subscribe for more tips, while at the same time, the word subscribe pops up on the screen right next to the button you can actually click. You're seeing it, you're hearing it, you can do it. It just makes that next step feel totally effortless, and way more people will actually do it. Okay, so when you put all of these pieces together, when you combine the real science of learning with this really smart content strategy, something pretty amazing starts to happen. What you get is this powerful new blueprint for online education, and it's being led by people just like Dr. Patel. And the big takeaway here is that it's not really about the flashy new technology. It's about understanding how our brains are actually wired to learn, respecting the fact that our attention spans are short, and then using these proven tricks to grab that attention for something that actually matters. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. We've seen this whole model works for learning a language, right? But the principles behind it, they could apply to anything. So if you can actually teach something as complicated as English in just 60 seconds, what else can you teach? What are the limits here? Just think about what we could learn, one little minute at a time.